Hi, I am a Immortal Fade and Sova main, and in this video I will be showing you a few wallbangs that probably no one has thought of before. In my previous wallbangs guide for Lotus, one kind of feedback I got from one person at least, was that none of the wallbangs were new, right? So I thought to myself, okay, like that's fine, right? Like wallbang doesn't have to be new for it to be good, right? Like a lot of players don't use wallbangs that much in their gameplay. Like 99% of players, they don't get wallbang kills that often because they just don't wallbang. They don't maximize their wallbang kill potential in times when they really should. So I was thinking, okay, maybe there's wallbangs that might be like new, that would be like more interesting and like never seen before, that players might be more encouraged to utilize, you know, like something more interesting. So my ideas are, as my clones here might indicate, are as follows. If you're rotating from A, you fought for A or whatever, and you want to wallbang someone planting this pike in this corner here, right, where the clones are. Like, or even if they're not planting, even if they're just like holding angles from here, right, passively. This is a terrible spot to be in, first of all, positionally, but if some noob player is in this angle, all you do is you align this wall with the right of this like green square, and then you shoot not the bottom corner, not the lowest corner, but the second lowest corner of the texture. So here, the bottom left of the green square. And this works with an Odin, so as you can see, it kind of goes next to this wall here, so it doesn't hit the wall, and it doesn't hit the Odin box. If they are planting, they will be on a lower elevation, so you might not hit them. You can try aiming lower if you want for that. From this angle, you could try aiming a bit lower, try headshot them, but it's still a bit iffy. But yeah, this is like a really nice and convenient wallbang that you can try. They might still take some damage even if they're planting, but yeah. The next wallbang is also kind of interesting. If the enemies are flooding out onto B, just stand on the left half of this green rectangle here, just on the left half of it, roughly. And the first wallbang you can do here, with an Odin as well. Odin works even better for this one. The top right of the green square. This is going to wallbang all the way through into B main here, on this line. So what's going to happen is, if the enemy is clearly coming out, they are going to have to cross this entire line here, and they're going to take damage, right? If they try crossing this entire line here, they will take damage. So if they're peeking this, or if they take contact of your teammates, you can just wallbang them, right? If your teammate is here and they're trying to fight this, there might be like 2 or more enemies trying to peek this, right? And you're just going to get easy wallbang kills here. If you're ready for the B push, obviously, or if you're very early on the enemy's B push. And this is going to be a great wallbang, I think, to utilize for whenever you're on an anti-eco or something similar, right? If the enemy has poor economy, they're probably going to want to try and push B, right? They might smoke this here in like higher elo. They're going to smoke like this spot, right? So they can get closer with shotguns and then and shit like that. So yeah, but here's the thing, right? If the enemy is planting, this is going to be harder to wallbang. So, alternatively, with an Odin, I think mostly with an Odin. Let's see. No. Let's see. So, maybe with an Ares as well. Depends. Really depends. But, basically, there's like this texture here. There's like this curve here. And this curve is like almost exactly the same curve as the ADS scope, as you can see. Like the ADS scope is pretty much the same shape as this. And then also this line here also helps as a reference. So you can literally walk into this corner for a better angle to actually deny plant, like properly deny plant. And like these guys are gonna be dead here. Like this is a much better angle to wallbang from, but you do have to be careful of this wall, of course. Let's see. That was the furthest to the right that we can aim. Oh, it's all right actually. It's all right. So pretty much as soon as you meet this line here, this vague line, that's where the wall is. So that's where you won't hit the enemy anymore. So this is fine. So really fucking good. Also keep in mind the angle's disadvantage. So I might not necessarily be hitting the wall here. But yeah, really fucking good. I actually fucking love this. Very much so. I will be using this in my games. For sure, because it's so easy. So easy. Like, wow. And how many times is there a noob in this corner, right? Even here they might take some damage because of their shoulder poking out. Yeah. There's probably a few other wallbangs that I've yet to discover. On Lotus, at least, right? But in my previous Lotus wallbang guide, I did... Fuck, let me breathe. Fuck. I did discover most of the wallbangs, or I did demonstrate most of the wallbangs. So, for example, one really effective wallbang I showed was here. Just the corner. You just pre-fire this corner. Literally the corner, right? So where this line meets, and this line meets. Just here. And this is so good. Like, you might think, oh, it's not gonna wallbang, bro. What do you mean it's not gonna wallbang? This is gonna deal max fucking damage to anyone here. Like, literal headshot damage. Like, so they're gonna die really quickly. Especially if they're not, like, perfectly in the corner. If they're, like, slightly out of the corner, or they're slightly off from the corner, forward, or to the left, they're more likely to take damage and die from this. But normally it's an instant kill here. Instant kill. Just make sure you pull down right, because if you don't pull down enough, then some of the bullets aren't going to reach. So it's kind of better you pull down too much than not enough, because just of how much you can wallbang through this surface here. Like, let's even test it. How much can you wallbang at an angle here? If we just get right up in the corner. I'm gonna wallbang at the level of the waterfall. That definitely wallbangs. No need to test it. Let's wallbang at the level of this tiny pixel vertex here. See, that wallbangs. No, it doesn't. Okay. So this, past this, it doesn't wallbang anymore. But that is past the water, I believe. Yeah. So it's past the edge of the water, basically. Past the, like, the right edge. Where the right edge of the water ends. So crouching with, like, a semi-auto, like a Guardian, is not ideal. It does make the angle worse. So you don't want to crouch with a Guardian, but... Okay, so middle of the water. Interesting. It should be wallbanging, but... Okay, so I guess left edge of the water then? Okay, there's not as much leeway as it seems. But that one does the wallbang. This does wallbang. Right on the head. So, yeah, with an Odin, it's definitely better here. But if there's so little leeway, I would consider not crouching, even with the Odin, actually. Even though it does make things even more random. Right, it's harder to control the recoil like that, but you are gonna get the bullets a little bit lower down. So you're more likely to do damage, so... Another min-max you could do is stand a bit more forward here on the front edge instead of standing, and then you can crouch a little bit better. And this should be perfect. Yeah, this is much better now, as you can see. This is amazing. this is most likely gonna kill them if they're looking this way or this way. If they're looking away, they might not get headshots, right? But who's gonna like crouch and look away or just look away, right? Because your head model moves if you look away. It moves in the opposite direction, so it's like towards the boxes instead of towards like the spam. But no, I keep getting kills here. And the second lineup in which I keep getting kills is again demonstrated in the previous video, but is this here. I just wallbang here. I also got an ace like this recently, where this helped me get an ace for free. And the enemy had no choice. There was like a second enemy here as well. They had no choice but to fall back. And guess what? They were low HP after I spammed this and killed one guy already. Like, you don't even need, like, info. Like, you can just wallbang this, like, anytime you want. But yeah, this is another one that I will be 100% using in my games. And, like, no one's gonna be ready for it, obviously. Like, they're gonna be so ready for the peak here and the peak here and the peak here, right? It's like, this is such a threat. All these angles are such a threat that wallbanging here is, like, it's actually really safe. Because they can't focus their attention on this fucking wallbang, right? Can they even wallbang through? They can't even wallbang through. They can't even wallbang... Okay. That makes this even better. That makes it even better. So unless the enemy has a heavy penetration weapon, they can't even spam you back. They can't even spam you back unless they have a heavy penetration weapon. Which is crazy. And then keep in mind, they are going to be standing in the fire here, so they can't really spam you back immediately. And also, if they're going too wide, you might not even get killed here. If they go too wide. And also, it's just a tough angle to spam back anyway, because just of how the angles work. Like, there's this wall here covering you. You can't wallbang through this wall. So, it's kind of tough. I don't know how to explain it. But even though you are up against the wall here, it is slightly different from, for example, being right up against the wall here. Because being right up against the wall here, oh, you can spam that back, no problem. So it is something to keep in mind, is that in some angles, you're not really gonna get spammed back. Here, you're gonna get spammed back, right? Here, people are gonna spam you back. But usually in these kinds of weird angles, it's like, when's that ever gonna happen, right? And also, no one can spam you back here safely. That's another issue, is you can't really get spammed back here safely, because as I said, this wall is in the way here. You can't get spammed back if they want to spam you back safely. So, if they focus on you, in a lot of cases, it's actually gonna be good. Your teammate gets a free peek here, and a free kill, right? Because they're so exposed. Unless there's smokes up, right? So, maybe try and do this wallbang when the smokes are down, right? Like, after we do this wallbang here, you know no one's gonna be close left, so you can maybe cross, and then you can go for this. And, yeah. I'm just making sure that it works with my Ares skin as well. Yeah, it pretty much works with my Ares skin as well. Okay. With the ADS site used as lineup, for the reference. So yeah, pretty fucking cool. Like, obviously for this scope, this shape is not the same. So I'm just using like the tip of this line and the tip of this line. No crouch or anything. With a crouch, it's gonna be worse. Possibly. Not sure actually, but actually you could crouch. But it might mess up the angles. Let's see.
Decoy.
With a crouch. So we align and then we crouch. Yeah, it does kind of mess up the angles. Yeah. There's nothing to align here, so if you're trying to spam, it's less clear. But you can totally compensate. You can like maybe aim at the level of these, between the two lines, and then crouch. Let's see. Like if you did want to crouch for it, no, you'd be aiming too high. I mean, you'd be aiming almost at head level. So if you just pull down a bit, you know, it's like, do what works. Do what works for you. Do whatever you prefer. And also this lineup here, well, all of these lineups, I think, work with a regular Vandal. No. And there's only like a certain angle that works. But it does wallbang. But you could do some of these with a regular Vandal, I think. Let's see. No, this one, no. This one isn't even wallbangable here. This is wallbangable, I think, yeah. So you could do it from here, technically, with a Vandal, I think, yeah. But it's a worse angle, right? It's gonna be harder finding a lineup for this as well. Unless you do it from, like, this corner, but kinda not safe, right? Not really that safe. But you could figure something out, maybe. Maybe here, from here. Potentially, yeah. If you'd want to use a Vandal instead, but yeah, I don't really use a Vandal for wallbangs that much. But if I were, yeah, I would probably figure something out too, like maybe stand here against the edge of here and then align. This maybe? No. Just watch out because this root is kind of in the wall. This piece of root is in the wall. So if you wallbang through this initial green part into this second root in the wall, it kind of doesn't wallbang anymore. So you have to avoid the root, even the one inside the wall. So now it's gonna go through, yeah. But yeah, these wallbangs, super important because this is just a free kill here. This is just a free kill. Even with the Vandal, it's just a free kill. And if it's such a free kill, why not do it, right? Why not? Like, you're not losing anything, really. Like, either way, you're gonna lose bullets or your life peeking this guy like this. Just dry, right? Or with an ability, or whatever, right? It's like, there is a possibility that this guy sitting here is just gonna, like, once he's blinded, or once he's, like, affected by some kind of ability, right? A stun or something, they're gonna crouch, shoot you, whether they're stunned or not, right? Or whether they're blind or not, right? They might just blindly spray, right? So it's like, it's never fully safe peeking this. Never. But you know what is fully safe? This. Like, when is it not? Oh, also no, I did it, right? Do you have to crouch for it with a Vandal? Maybe crouching is safer, yeah. Maybe you should crouch with a Vandal. Just because it's got less penetration. Yeah. Like, dude. The amount of players I don't see doing these lineups, like, dude. Come on, dude. Come on. Like, let's say you plant it for this here. Right? Let's say you plant here. We get a clone. How many players, like, don't realize this? But, like, this is wallbangable. Like, even if you plant in this noob trap of a spot, right? This is wallbangable. Like, players need to use this shit. Like, please, dude. Like, you're losing rounds, not just from planting here, not necessarily from planting here, but also because you're not using your brain. You're not actually thinking. Like, how many players tried to wallbang this? Like, I'm sure there's a ton of players who tried to, like, you know, maybe you planted here or something, right? And the enemy dodged it, right? They dodged it. Use your brain. Use your brain, dude. If the spike is planted here on this edge, right? And the enemy goes, like, as low as possible to try and crouch and, like, kind of defuse, looking away and down, right? To like, dodge the line of sight. Like, bro, you just need to know where the spike is planted to know that the enemy is gonna, like, you know, plant off to the side, diffuse off to the side, right? So instead of spamming the spike directly, right? You might be able to see the spike from here, but instead of spamming the spike directly, why don't you just spam, like, to the left of the spike? Like, you know they're roughly here, right? Like, you probably kill them, and it's the same idea here, right? If you plant this, if the spike is planted in this corner, it's like, you know, there's the chance that they're gonna, you know, if they are, even if they're conscious of, even if they know that a wallbang is coming, right? Even if they know you're gonna wallbang this, and they try to, like, diffuse slightly off to the side, right? Instead of fully in the corner, even then you can still, like, wallbang for it. Like, don't wallbang the same shit, right? Like, when you're wallbanging, change after, like, a few bullets, change where you're wallbanging. So, like, let's say I know for a fact that there's an enemy behind these boxes, and they're not gonna peek us for some reason. For example, they are tethered by, like, a fade seize. Guess what? Right? Like, my fade, like, throws a seize here, and I can see, like, the tether line. Right? Guess what? I might not know where he is exactly behind the boxes, but why not do this? Why not, like, actually clear everything, right? Or, like, randomly sweep through the box. So, for example, clearing everything, right? Making sure that the bullets reach, like, every angle. And then, like, damage is pretty much guaranteed, right? As long as he's, like, within the range, he would have taken, you know, multiple shots to the body at least, right? If you're lucky, to the head too. So, it's like, yes, it's still hard getting a kill through these boxes, but it's not hard dealing damage. At least 2 shots into the enemy. If you just wallbang correctly, that's all. That's all. If you just wallbang correctly. Obviously, it's much different from boxes like these. Here, you just kind of shoot this above this leaf, and you get like a perfect wallbang here every time, like no matter what. So, and also it's a headshot if they crouch. It's a headshot if the enemy crouches and looks this way, or this way, right? As long as they're looking roughly in this range, they're gonna get headshotted here. You use this wallbang technique on these Lotus boxes in particular. This works on every Lotus box, so here too. Like you peek here, or you peek far, whatever, right? Is the same thing. Like, they're just gonna get wallbanged here. So either they're gonna get body shotted or headshotted if they're far. If they're far, then they're gonna get headshotted, right? So if they're close, they're gonna get body shotted. You can go for a headshot. In my opinion, it's not worth it really to go for the headshots, but I think it's this dot for a headshot. Not too sure. Yeah, but it's not really worth it. It's more reliable to just go for the body shots for wallbangs, in my opinion, at least. And yeah, are there any other boxes? Yeah. There's this box here. Exact same trick, but the angle is a bit wider, technically. So, kind of, yeah, you peek here instead. And this gives you a perfect wallbang every time. Well, not the most perfect one, because the angle is off. So, you can compensate a bit if you want by aiming more to the right. Right? But like, either way, it's still gonna damage the enemy if they're up in this corner. And like, players need to understand this shit. They need to understand this shit, because it's really just easy losses, really. It's just an easy loss. Let's say you were sneaky in tree and the enemy is planting. Guess what? Shoot here. Bro, just shoot here. This box is like symmetrical. If you're at a 45-degree angle to the box, guess what? This spot is gonna be the same as this spot if you shoot it. Like, it's the same thing. It's just like geometry. So like, if you understand the geometry, you know that it's gonna wallbang symmetrically, right? So you know you're hitting the enemy in the head here, or into the body if you want to be safe, right? And it's like, players just don't know this. They don't know this. Like, this is one example where math helps. Like, if you know mathematics, if you've been in math class, you know this shit. You already know this shit. So for example here, right? 45-degree angle, guess what? Perfect wallbang. Every time. Every single time. And you don't need this pattern on the box for it. You don't need this pattern. This pattern is optional. It's optional. You just need to understand that if you're at this angle, right? 45-degree angle, then that's gonna happen if you shoot exactly there. It's gonna go exactly to the angle you want it to, right? Even if it's not a perfect shape, even if it's not like the perfect square shape. But yeah, same thing here, obviously. Like, if you don't have heaven yet, here I would probably go for a headshot, actually. If they're crouched. If they're not crouched, it's whatever. Here I would probably go for a headshot. But it is kind of risky here, but you know, if you have no choice but to clear it, it's whatever, right? It's whatever. You have no choice but to clear it. Again, like, perfect wallbang every time. Especially if you're close up. Because if you're close up, then or if the enemy is close and you're close, it's much easier to hit them, right? If you're far and the enemy is far from the wallbang angle, so like if the enemy is here, it might be harder to wallbang them. So you might be you might need to be more precise for that wallbang in particular, but still, right? It's still like doable. But yeah, there's like not much else really to talk about. Mostly because even if you know the wallbangs, you're not necessarily gonna be using them. So like, the goal is to use the wallbangs. Like, even if you know all of them, if you're not gonna be using all of them, there's no point. So like, make sure that you're using the wallbangs in your games before moving on to trying other wallbangs, or before moving on to learning other wallbangs. So like, for example, with my previous Lotus wallbangs guide, I would recommend players to just, like, the first wallbang lineup that seems interesting, just go and use it in your games. The first wallbang lineup that you actually just want to use for, like, kills in your games, like, use it. Just use it. Like, there's no point in you watching the rest of the video if you're not going to use it. Like, the point of the video is to get you to, like, get more kills in your games easily, right? Through these really easy ways. So, go into that lineup guide that I made and actually apply one lineup from it. And that's gonna make a world of a difference. Like, compared to what everyone else does in Ranked. Like, most players in Ranked are, like, zombies. They just, like, run around. They just run around like, oh, enemy, pow, 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 pow. Oh, enemy, pow, 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 pow. And it's like just fucking dry duels non-stop. Or they sometimes use ability, but how many times does, like, a plat player not use his abilities to, like, take advantageous fights? Like, it's fucking silly. It's silly. But, like, it's like, it's just Valorant. Like, in CS, yeah, it's kind of understandable that players wouldn't use util, because a lot of the time they already use it, like, as soon as the round starts, right? There's a lot of lineups that just you kind of throw as soon as the round starts, and then it's kind of done, right? It's done and over, right? Like, for an execute, you might use up all your utility, because that's kind of the meta in a lot of maps, and in a lot of cases, right? Just, you know, throwing utility all over to deny angles, right? Especially the, like, worst angles for, like, the enemy to be in, right? You want to deny that shit. So it's like, yeah, in CS it makes sense, but in Valorant it's like, dude, like, keep your abilities, but, like, use them when, like, you want to take a fight, right? Like, in CS you might want to, like, I don't know, use flashes early, for example. Why use your flashes early, for example, in Valorant if you have a Gecko, right? If you're playing Yoru or, like, a similar agent, why use your abilities early if you have a Gecko? Your Gecko will literally, like, deny the space. Your Gecko flash will let you know if there's any enemies in this area if you're attacking. So keep your abilities for sight. Keep your ability, or, you know, if your Gecko still has other abilities, or he uses his flash again and no one gets scanned, guess what? Keep your abilities for this area. Keep your abilities for this area. Like, don't just, you know, use an excess of abilities, but also, like, don't use your abilities, like, unnecessarily, right? Like, don't use them unnecessarily, but don't underuse them, right? Like, use them where it makes sense, right? Most common scenario where it makes sense to use abilities for is post plants. Post plants. Like, if there's a smoke here, right, and you've planted really quickly, guess what? Use an ability here to deny the peaks, right? Maybe use an ability to get into the smoke, right? If you have a shotgun or something, like, get into the smoke, right? And, like, maybe as Yoru, you can just flash out the smoke, right? And then get this guy, you get this guy, right? With a shotgun, right? If you have a shotgun or some shit. Like, there's really good fight, right? Really good fight for your like, a Yoru player to take here. Right? And then after you get this kill and this kill, right? The guys who got blinded here are gonna be falling back, right? They're gonna fall back a bit, right? So guess what? Another flash. Another kill. Like, this is your territory, dude. It's your territory. But if you have a Gecko, or you have a Breach, or you have a Sova, or you have a Fade, and you're using your flashes early in solo queue, below Radiant, in this early choke point or something, it's like, it's a waste. It's a waste. Like, don't, like, you really shouldn't. You really should let a different teammate use an ability, especially if it's a Gecko, especially if it's like a Fade, especially if it's a rechargeable ability, like a Fade Eye, Breach Stun, Gecko Flash, you know, Raise Boombot is valid as well, right? Raise Boombot, you know, just shit like that. That, like, really doesn't help as much, right? Your flashes are kind of your win condition in a lot of cases. Flashes, stuns, other displacement abilities, right? Like, you can't do this shit on a lot of agents. Like, it's really worth playing with your flashes in solo queue, like later into the rounds, not early. Unless it's defense, right? Unless it's defense. But yeah, like, please, people, like, use your abilities, but like where it actually matters. Like, you can fuck up the enemy so easily by flashing out of a smoke like here. Even if you have a shotgun, even if you have a bucky, like, no one's gonna counterplay this in plat. No one's gonna counterplay this in diamond, even ascendant, right? I peek this shit with, like, on ISO. I peek this shit on ISO with a shield. And I just got a kill here automatically. Like, on Phoenix, I molly this smoke. I walk into the smoke. I clear the left. If there's someone on the left, guess what? I kill them. Because it's fucking easy. Players don't expect aggression like that, right? Like, I molly the smoke. I flash out of the smoke on Phoenix. Guess what? 3 kills. And then I can push up. I can maybe jump spot it, right? Flash again. Another free kill. Like, it's fucking easy, dude. This would be a bit of an overheat here. Usually you don't want to enter these kinds of areas. But it's acceptable on a flash agent because this is such an enormous flash zone. The timing for an enemy pushing up here is huge. So in reality, when you're jump spotting, right, you are stalling a lot of time if the enemy is conscious of your flashes, right? If you jump spot here, if you know no one's close, for example, like your Fade dogged close for you or something, right? Or maybe you flashed once, saw no one, and then you fell back and now you're jump spotting this. Waiting for, like, the enemy to rotate. The enemy can't really push this unless they specifically dodge your flash, right? So if they're conscious of your flashes, there's so many mind games you can play, so much shit that you can do. You can even just fall back, because you jump spotting there and you asserting your presence as a flash agent is going to make a smart enemy really careful. So you falling back into, like, a more passive angle, like here, or like here, is going to actually buy you a lot of time, because they're going to be so wary of you flashing here, especially if you've already done it before. There's definitely some kind of flash you can do here. That's really unexpected. Like here, right, or something like that. And, like, it's so hard to dodge it when like you're focused on this point here. Maybe you're ADS, right? So your FOV is a bit closer. So, like, it's gonna be so hard to dodge this kind of flash here. So dude, just play around your flash zones. Like, that is the key concept on agents like Phoenix, Yoru, KO. Like, unfortunately, yes, KO is an initiator, but guess what? In solo queue, it doesn't really matter. Like, you need to be playing for the most consistent value, which means very often you're gonna want to play like a duelist, even on KO, even on Fade, even on Sova. Like, a lot of agents you just want to try get some value with. For example, on Cypher. If I were to play Cypher in solo queue, guess what? I would be throwing unexpected deep trips. On attack, if I'm pushing holes here, I'm throwing, like, a deep trip, low deep trip that the enemy won't expect, right? So that I can just, like, pop a cage here. I can pop my cage here, get the kill when the enemy gets attacked by my trip, because they're not gonna expect it, right? And then I fall back, I reposition or whatever, or I maintain control of the space. And, like, I would be doing this shit on defense as well. So for example, I would, like, trip, like, something really unexpected. Like, maybe I could trip, like, on the edge of this across somehow. So like when the enemy passes a mound, I just get like a free kill here. Through like my teammate smoke. It's like, it's really worth doing this tricky shit. Really worth it in solo queue. Just because it's like, yeah, the way I tell players to play is as if it's like an idle clicker, where like you're looking for those passive bonuses. Like think of cookie clicker. Like you want to maximize those passive bonuses in your gameplay to like the maximum of your ability, because it's just stuff that works. Like it works. Like if it doesn't work, then like think about why it doesn't work. But like usually, like you flashing like some dumb thing here is gonna pay off. Like here, this is gonna pay off like so often. Like because this is just a massive flash zone. Again, it's so easy to time. It's so easy. Like you're just missing out. Like why not get the kill here? Why not? Like get the kill, fall back, reposition. You know, maybe just, you know, play like it's solo, like you're solo, like you're really solo, like play like you don't have a team, because like it's kind of simpler that way. Like especially below like Ascendant, playing like it's a 1v5 is going to help you in a lot of scenarios. Yes, you can play smarter, but realistically, it's like it's really easy to get tilted if you try playing with a team. Like at least in my case, or in a lot of players' cases, it is really hard to actually play with teammates, and playing smart. It is difficult. It is difficult because it's not going to work very often. If it does work, obviously, great feeling, right? Awesome, you know, teamwork. But because it's solo queue, the enemy likely won't have comms. They likely won't expect a lot of the plays you do if you know what plays to make. If you learn what plays to make in the first place. Like, being unpredictable literally lets you solo carry in ranked. Especially if you're unpredictable on a flash agent. Another example would be, yeah, like here. Like, let's say, I don't know. The enemies are pushing A main, right? You flash here. The enemies are pushing A main. You flash. Guess what? Free kill on like anyone taking the orb. Just flash off the orb, right? Flash the moment the enemy tries taking the orb. It doesn't matter if they're like just tapping the orb or if they're sticking the orb. Pick up, like, you're gonna kill them here. Easy isolated kill. Even if someone is close to you, like, just be ready for them. Just be ready, right? Hold wide. Hold for a wide swing, right? Or fall back while pre-aiming, right? In case they peek you. Unless, in case the enemy that's close will peek you. But in most cases, they will not peek you here because it's really tough. It's really tough. You need an ability to get through this choke point because there's just so many angles you could be in. It's so easy to like overswing it. Or like your shoulder is visible here. You might get headshotted without you even seeing the enemy. So this off angle here. This is like an off angle here, kinda. Where like the enemy might swing for like the initial angle. And then you're just gonna like be able to shoot their head. Because of this angles advantage. You're just gonna shoot their ear off. If they try peeking close. So like you can't peek close here. You have to peek far. And you have to clear as many angles as possible before peeking close. Right? It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough getting through here. So a flash helps the most. Or like a sky dog or a fade dog. You know, something just to create this space more safely. But yeah, this has gone for long enough. I really hope that someone, at least one person, is going to take something away from this. I will probably be sending this video to like any of my future students and shit like that. Just because it is one way to level up your gameplay in a way that doesn't really require skill. All it requires you to do is just making the conscious decision to like start using the wallbang in your games. Enemies are taking A main aggressively every round. Guess what? Easy counter. Just wallbang here, bro. Guess what that does? Off the spawn barrier. Any like raise being in this corner, right? Race player just dies. They just die. They try pushing up, never mind. The angle doesn't work for them. They fall back, doesn't work. They have to move to the right. So most of the inputs they make here are going to be incorrect. They need to move to the right. That is the only way you don't die to this wall bank here. And guess what? If you're next to a teammate here against the spawn barrier, guess what? That's gonna be difficult. That's gonna be difficult if a teammate is right next to you. So if they don't expect the wall bang, they probably die because they have a teammate blocking their ass, right, from moving to the right, even if they do make the correct choice of moving to the right. So all they can do is take a lot of damage and move diagonally to avoid their teammates body blocking them, right? So the diagonal movement also adds to it. And guess what? I'm also flicking to the left with a lot of wall bangs. After you do this for a sec, you also want to do this. One example is tree. If the enemy is walking up to the switch on your own defense, this is fine. This initial wallbang is fine. But then, guess what? You need to flick more to the right in prediction to like the enemy's movement. Like if they try avoiding the wallbang here, they're gonna swing pretty wide. So you want to now start suddenly wallbanging them where they've been displaced to, right? Roughly where they've been displaced to from your initial wallbangs. That is the way to play wallbangs correctly. Especially those wallbangs where the enemy has like lots of positional freedom. So let's say I'm wallbanging for this corner here, right? That was off. Oops. I'm wallbanging for this corner here. I don't wanna... If I don't get the kill here off the wallbang, I wanna flick to the left. Or maybe even more. More than that. Because the only place the enemy will most likely be in is, yeah, across this wall somewhere, right? Because they can't really swing wide, especially if there's no smoke. It's not safe. But yeah, apart from that, again, for the orb, if you're denying the orb, yeah, it's kind of a 50-50 where the enemy's gonna go. But you can wallbang the orb of audio, and then if the enemy goes to the right, wallbang the corner. If the enemy goes to the left, and you don't get a kill here, then just start shooting this area instead. Like again, this would be the incorrect course of action for the enemy, but it's still a 50-50 for you, and there's a 0% chance for the enemy to kill you, like realistically speaking. Like, I've never died getting spammed back in tree, unless I was like 1 HP. If I was 1 HP and like a random stray bullet through the wall hit me, like, you know, that doesn't really count. That's just unlucky. Obviously, I'm talking about like the standard situations where like I'm gonna go for like a wallbang into a lobby. Right? No one counter spams this. No one can counter spam this wallbang. No one. Why? Because it's hard. It's really hard. Like, the variance of angles you can be in is huge, and it's really unclear where you are exactly. Now, if someone is smart, they have like a counter spam lineup. But the issue is, counter spam lineup also gets hit. So they cannot counter spam unless they're ready for it in the pre-round. Pretty much. So yeah. And in the mid-round, again, it's really easy to just not get counter spammed. Like, play it smart. Like, don't sit in the same spot right up against the wall. Because if you sit right up against the wall, you know, player natural instinct is to shoot back through like the holes that you're making. So if you're close up against the wall, making these holes in the wall, you're gonna get spammed back really easily. But if you stand back a bit, there's gonna be way more deviance, right, from like your position and the position of the holes. So the only way for a player to spam you back is from like the angle of your bullet tracers, but those are most visible with like something like an operator. I think so, at least. I think maybe... Oh yeah, I have tracers disabled. I have bullet tracers disabled for my own weapons. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, the tracer does go through the wall. and you can't see it, and you can use that to counter spam, right? Because that does give some positional information on where you are, but it's still really tough. It's still tough. It's much easier if it's through smokes, and if it's like a full automatic weapon, because then you can use way more information to pinpoint the enemy's position through the smoke, including audio, including all the bullets, not just one bullet, but like all the bullets. So it's also another useful skill to kind of develop, is to just, you know, learn to counter spam the enemy reliably. Like, number one thing you want to pay attention to is also if there is a smoke here, make sure that you know, like, from memory, like, where this, like, edge of the wall is, right? So you're not shooting the wall, so that you're actually shooting the enemy here through the smoke. A lot of players make the mistake of, like, you know, not really knowing where they're shooting, so, like, they're gonna end up, like, counter spamming nothing, right? They're gonna counter spam the fucking vending machines, the locker, which, like, isn't gonna do anything. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful and actually shoot where you intend to, even if you can't see the angle. This is kind of another small way you can maximize, like, your passive bonuses, like in an idle clicker. Just, yeah, because it's gonna get you kills. It's gonna get you so many kills, dude. Especially once you, like, master it. Anyways, that's probably it. Like, it's kind of a ramble, but at the same time, I am kind of really trying to just give as much information as possible about, like, how you're meant to play this game if you don't want to focus on your, like, actual aim, because that's kind of what I do. That's kind of my playstyle. I have terrible aim. I'm trying to get it better, just because hitting Immortal 3 or, like, Radiant Elo is really, really hard. If your aim sucks. Like, neglecting certain skills is not good. You don't want to neglect anything, really, if you're going for Radiant. I'm not, but I do enjoy improvement. So if I do hit something close to Radiant ever, I won't, like, necessarily care. I'm just gonna be, like, happy that, like, oh, I improved a lot, right? For me, it's kind of different. Like, I just care about the improvement. But yeah, that's about it. See ya.